morning. Fabian Onetti for Winston Capital Advisors. We're going to cover the week of February 18th to the 22nd. And if you're looking at this picture, we're at the beautiful Hotel La Bluette in Punta del Este, Uruguay. Today is our last day. Tomorrow, Monday, we will be back in Buenos Aires and then back in New York. So, on a quiet week, 4-day only, there was not a lot of news. However, this is the 9th week that the market keeps going up. We have 16% rally since the bottom of December, and we're just 3% off the highs of October. It's very interesting how in a quiet week the market slowly does 100 points here, 70 points there, but slowly is going up. We hadn't had this stretch of 9 weeks almost 20 years plus ago. 1995 was the last time that this thing happened in the markets. So very interesting there. So let's go into some of the other things. Also, the commodities have been doing very well. Oil and copper, which had a very challenging 18, starting the year very well, up somewhere around 20%. Copper also followed by the other metals like nickel, palladium, aluminum. In a way, people are thinking that we have a very good or underlying demand from China. Remember, that was the worry at some point with the markets on what's happening, what was going on there. So, positive side in the metals, which, we follow very closely because I think is the best, we think is the best indicator in terms of growth in China. Talking about China, US, big negotiations, very intense. The deadline is this coming Friday on the 1st. Everybody thinks that President Trump will extend that deadline from tariff going from 10 to 25% for another 60 days. Big rumors and comments of an imminent meeting between Trump and Xi Jinping anytime soon. No dates, a lot of comments in the markets. And also this week, 27, 28, President Trump goes to Vietnam to meet with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Very important geopolitically, and some people speculate, well, since we're in Vietnam, why don't we go to Beijing and meet with Xi Jinping? The White House says it's not happening, and I think for political optics and cosmetics, it's not going to make it like that. But, again, very high-end negotiations. They say that the advance has been small, but the commitment of both sides to get some sort of an agreement has been very, very strong. So, again, we think it's very, very important from that point. We also had during the week the Fed minutes of the last meeting when it came clear that the Fed was genuinely worried about the fact that the massive financial noise that we have in last quarter of last year, mainly December, somehow it has a direct effect on real economy. More and more over the years, they think that the financial markets have a very direct and quick impact on real economy, not the way that it was before, especially because most people now, most of the middle class in the world has savings and 401ks and pension funds that somehow are tied to the stock markets in the world. So big turbulence affects consumer confidence very quickly, and that affects consumption, obviously. So the Fed is very concerned about that noise, so which more and more feeds on the idea that they're going to take a pause on rate increases. The market is discounting 0 rate increases for the remaining of the year. However, no analysts or big bank are saying that. They're thinking maybe somewhere in June, July, we will have some increases. One increase, then towards the end of the year, another one. But I think part of 19 will be trying to discover that and try to understand what's going on with the Fed and the raise in rates. I think we think it's very important from the side. Speaking of that, Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, will testify in his biannual testimony to Congress. I think Tuesday is to the Senate, Wednesday is to the House of Representatives, and it's always interesting, especially the Q&A. It's a preset discourse, but then the Q&A could be interesting. So, like always, we will be following very closely. In Latin America, Bolsonaro of Brazil introduced his very ambitious pension reform, trying to raise the rate of retirement from 50 to 62, 65. Also, the years of contributions to at least 20 years. There is almost no limits now, and that's very ambitious. The market is looking at that, and we applaud that, because as soon as he get the momentum and he started, he is doing it. So we think that's it's very important for his government, and again, we'll follow closely on the boat. And in Latin America, over this weekend in Venezuela, there was a lot of turmoil. They tried to distribute humanitarian aid. For the most part, didn't work, but clearly Venezuela is now encircled around all their boundaries by countries trying to deliver humanitarian aid, and there is been some desertion in the armed force. Some other places less so, but again, the situation is very, very tense. We'll see how develops. In company reporting, basically, Lyft and Pinterest, both unicorns, have filed for IPOs, multi-billion-dollar valuation. Remember, Lyft is the competition of Uber, so finally we'll see numbers, we'll see how these companies make money or not, and what are their perspectives in terms of growth, etc. Pinterest is very well used for anybody who's in design, architecture, it's very much on that, but apparently the company does very well. Two disasters of the week: Bunge, that pre-announced bad numbers, reported even worse numbers. Stock was down 5%. Really a lost stock, reminds me of GE. No directions, very affected by soybeans in Brazil, especially ethanol that lost the subsidies and stuff like that. And the other big disaster du jour was Kraft Heinz, that basically took a write-off of $15 billion of a lot of the brands by saying people do not want to eat processed foods, ketchup, mayonnaise. Oscar Mayer and others, people are eating more healthy or healthier, and that's clearly not good for the company. Affected Berkshire Hathaway, that just swing to a loss by taking the write-off or a big investment. Remember, Berkshire Hathaway with the Brazilian billionaire Jerome Powell, they did the merger of these companies, merging Kraft and Heinz, a big investment that apparently has to a degree flop. That's all we have. We hope you have a great week. Again, it's been a week quiet, but the markets keep moving in the direction that we like. So stay invested. For our clients, always 9:45 every day live from New York. And more information, visit our page, winston.capital. Have a great week.